Thank you for tuning in to the Patricia Show. This is Patricia. Please press like, subscribe, and share. So, this is part 4 of God. Are we brainwashed? So, I've given you some stuff for you to think about and for you to think like, do you think you're brainwashed? Do you think that all the things that the church has been teaching or the religious organization has been teaching is to keep society under control? Do you think that everything they're teaching is the truth? And I think it's called the Niacin. Back in the day, back in Constantine time, they didn't know exactly who Jesus was. So they put together a council, and that council said that they would name Jesus the Son of God. Now there were other priests in other districts, so to speak, that disagreed with that and didn't want that done. This is in the Catholic Church, and and then Constantine group of priests, they wanted that done. So they did that. They set up something, I think it's called Niacin or something. They set that up saying that they were the one who declared that Jesus was the Son of Man. They named him that. They gave him that office and that authority and all that. They did that. Now, it's really funny that some people you could talk to and they have read this, and I found it in the Catholic Encyclopedia. And child, don't even ask me how I found it. I think God definitely led me there, because I don't even know. I was shocked when I didn't even know that the Catholics had an encyclopedia. And I happened to I Googled this. I couldn't have Googled encyclopedia because I didn't know they had one. But I found it on Google. And then at the time I was going to the Catholic Church, and I asked one of the ladies did they have a encyclopedia, and she told me yes. And I was telling her that I had found it and what it had said in there. But anyway, if you go to the Catholic Encyclopedia, it is in the whole meetings that they had, it's all in there, telling you, excuse me, that they had declared that Jesus was the Son of Man. Now, some people who have read this, you can call them brainwashed or not, they say, oh no, they're not the one who did that, even though they say they're the one who did that. These people will say no, they'll say no. What they did, that's not what they're doing. They'll say they're not declaring him the Son of Man, but they did. It's so clear. You could read it for yourself. And they say no. They'll just find something that's not what they're saying. It's what they'll say. And then you have another group of people who say clearly this is what they're saying. I'm with the group to say clearly it's what they said. But this is the point. Are some people so brainwashed to no matter what evidence you're giving, you're still going to believe that Jesus is the only Son of God? I'm not at this point saying he is or he not. We're going to get to that later. I just want to talk about you facing reality. Or do you think you're brainwashed? That's what I'm talking about today. That's all I'm talking about. Do you think you're brainwashed? Because see, if you're brainwashed, you're not teachable. And if you're not teachable, it don't matter what I show you. You're still going to believe what you believe, and that's it. And you're not going to let anybody sway that. Nobody is telling you to sway that. I'm just saying open your ears and listen to other explanations, not only the one that the church is giving you. I look at Jesus as my elderly brother, and I love him dearly. But do I believe he's the Christ? Yes, I do believe he's the Christ. But I also believe that that's one of the reasons that we are here. We are here to become the Christ. Now, I was gonna tell you this later, but I'm going to tell you now. My belief is that Jesus came here to help mankind because they were struggling trying to find their way back home. They had lost their power, their ability, didn't know who they were, what they were. It was ending up in slavery at that time because I think the Hebrew people were in slavery. And they just were weakened and they were crying out for God's help. God, please help me. So Jesus, as your elderly brother, came forth to show you the way back to God, your mighty I am presence, who he talked about many, many times. But that was changed. And the people in the Catholic Church that was for Constantine at the time decided to name him name him the Christ. And this is what they don't, we all are the Christ. Our goal or our purpose in life is to evolve back and become the Christ. That is our purpose in life. So Jesus was here to show you how to do it. You were supposed to follow his lead, his examples, to get you back on the road so that you can know your Christhood. But they totally changed it. And so you didn't know he was here to try to show you how to get to God. You didn't know he was here to try to show you who you really are. Because if they change it like eons ago, then the people in our generation sure would know. You know what I mean? Because they've changed it and watered it down and took the truth away and all this. So is Jesus the Christ? Yes. Jesus got his Christhood when he decided to come back and show people how to do it. He obtained his Christhood at that time. But he also said to you, everything he could do, you could also do it too. He said that. Isn't that in your Bible that Jesus said that? Yes, it is. Because he was showing you how to do it. But again, if you change it, then nobody's really going to understand. So I went to the Catholic Church, I think it was, on Easter. And by the way, who set the date Easter for a holiday? Constantine did. I think it was at that same Nicene meeting when they made Jesus the Christ. They decided to have a special day where he would rise again. And they made it Easter. They did that too. So this is the thing. We all are the children of God. We all are the sons of God. We came here on this earth to evolve to the point where we can emerge with our Christhood. And when we become the Christ, we're on our way back to the Father. And this is what Jesus came to show you. What is the Christship? We'll talk about that later. What is the Christ? We'll talk about that later. Because I can't put everything on a 15-minute tape, so we'll talk about that later. So I think the Christians believe that there's only one Christ, and that's Jesus. And that's just incorrect. We all are children of God. We all are here to become the Christ. I can't say that enough. And that's why Jesus went through all those demonstrations and everything he went through. Oh, this is what I was going to tell you. But I had went to a church, a Catholic church one Easter. And I was so surprised because the only thing they was focusing on about Jesus, the suffering he went through. They weren't talking about his teaching. They weren't talking about none of that. They were talking about his suffering. And then one time I went to, I think you call it a holiness church, sanctified church. And the only thing they were talking about for the whole hour, and I'm not lying, the whole hour, was he died and he rose. That was it. He died, he rose the whole time. Where is the teaching? How can people get the understanding of the truth if you're not teaching them? What they're doing is when you go to church and they're singing about he died and he rose, that's the emotional. They are connecting with the emotional part of you. You are emotional and you sit there and cry and dance or whatever you're doing, but you're not learning nothing because they're not trying to connect with you mentally for you to learn and understand what happened and who you are and what's going to happen with you. They're trying to get you to be emotional, so that everything that they've taught you about Jesus, you will just take it and leave church that day and believe everything they done said. You ain't learned not one thing. And the Catholic Church had this whole little ritual, man. Oh my God, they got it. It's a nice ceremony, the ritual they go through. But oh my God, they go through a lot. This little ritual they go through on Easter. But it's not teaching you one thing, and it's focusing on his death. And I think I had even asked the lady, Catholic lady, and I said, but I don't understand why not the Catholic Church, but all the church seem to be focusing on his death. If you focus on Jesus' death, you are missing the point, people. Remember, he came here to teach you how to reach your mighty I am presence. If you do not demand the church to teach you what his teaching was, how will you ever know? You won't know anything Jesus taught. If you stand up and demand the church, I don't want to be emotional anymore. I want you to teach me. That's why they focus on his death. Because you look about what happened to him and how they abused him and all this, and you want to cry. Oh, Lord, look what they did to my Jesus. You want to go through all that. You're emotional. And as long as you're emotional, they don't have to teach you nothing because you're not demanding it. You're going right out of that church on an emotional feeling. Stop being emotional and want to know the truth. Demand to know what Jesus taught. You'll never know if what I'm saying is right about he came to teach you about how to get back to the Father if you don't even know his teachings yourself. You don't know his teaching because they want to focus you in on how he died because, that's a horrible way, what they done to Jesus when he died. That's horrible. So yes, you're going to feel sorry for him. Yes, you're going to cry, but it keeps you in that emotional state. And when you're in an emotional state, people, you cannot learn. You cannot learn. So wake up. I say it again. Wake up. Wake up and demand to know the truth about what Jesus taught so that you can follow what he taught. So I ask you again, people, are you brainwashed? Thank you so much for tuning in to the Patricia Show. Press subscribe, like, and share. Thank you.